We must summon her. We need more power. Here she is. Thank you.
But first, a message from our sponsors.
Hey, what seems to be the problem there, Workout? Well, I keep trying to watch sumo, but all these Twitch streams keep getting banned.
Well, do we have the product for you guys? Proton VPN.
Proton VPN?
That's right, Proton VPN. Use it to access hundreds of thousands of different IPs from across the globe. And all of those websites you couldn't access before. If you're afraid of your email getting compromised too, worry no longer. Proton also offers an email service.
No more Nigerian princes. Thanks, Proton.
Be sure to use command Proton if you're watching on stream, or check the description of the video to get the link and start your new VPN experience today. We got you covered for that too. Except that's highly illegal and I suggest you never speak of that again. Are you behind 7 proxies? Make sure that Proton VPN is one of them. What's up everyone, my name is Scott and I help Leo do the things that he can't do, which is IRL stuff such as opening anime figures. Today, we're going to be covering Aqua Minato from hololive, and as a VTuber, pretty big fan of Aqua. Reason I bought this was because, again, Aqua's probably my favorite of all of the hololivers. Can't really say much more than that, and I wanted to add her to my Gamer Girl collection right here on my computer stand, so I'm gonna have to move a few things around once I finally do. But let's get right to it. This is Minato Aqua, 1/7 scale, made by Kotobukiya. Not too much else to say about that. If we want to look at the box, we can see it's quite clear. You're gonna get what you pay for. This is a big quality scale figure, not like the last figure that we opened up, that swimsuit coconut. See on this side of the box, a nice cute angle of Aqua looking up at you. This side of the box, it's the same exact thing, and you see Bear in the background. Top of the box, kind of it shows the little anchor. Bottom of the box, information. So overall, the box itself, kind of cute. It's got a cute little pattern. Like, you can kind of see the cute little lattice and the dots around her. But other than that, it's kind of plain. The real thing is that it lets you do is it's got that big ass window that lets you see right into the figure, because that's what you want to see. It's not like the other prize figures where it doesn't have a window, and thus it has to, show different angles of the figure inside the box. But for right now, Aqua is looking pretty cute. The inside of the box is really cute too. Look at that. Like, I would see if I can't pull that out and display Aqua with that surrounding her somewhere, because that is her color scheme after all. But let's start cracking her open a little bit more. And this is where we start to get into the fun stuff of closely inspecting these anime figures. That's loud. Her stand is really cute. I like that a lot. Alright, but first let's get the plastic off of her. Let's get her all set up. No assembly required, it seems. You would think that with these hair loopies in the back, it might be a little more complicated than your average anime figure. But it looks as if there is going to be no assembly required. Which usually for scale figures, it goes one of two ways. There's either a lot of assembly required, or no assembly required. And you could see that with something like, my Akagi right up behind my head. If you think I look a little scruffy, it's because I am. It's No Shave November. But yes. No assembly required for cute little Aqua here. Just pull her right out of the box. I'll just leave that like that for now. Right out of the box. Right onto the stand. She's only got 1 foot on the stand. And that's all there is to it. Aqua in all of her adorableness and glory. Got a nice turnaround. If I had a, whatchamacallit, the spinny thing that like you put on a table and can spin it around, I'd put her on that. But I don't have one of those. So we're going to have to make do with these 4K pictures that I'm about to start showing y'all. And there is a lot of good detail that we could already start going into in terms of what Aqua offers us here. We're going to go from the tip of her ahoge to the tip of her toes. And already off the bat, we have her little bonnet. And it looks adorable. It's very well sculpted. The anchor looks like it's an additional piece that was put on later, which is a very nice touch. But here is where we have one of the small problems that I have with a lot of anime figures, where it's very obvious that like the front hair plate connects to the back hair plate here, and there's that obvious separation there, which is not very refined, but that's not something you're going to really notice when you start looking at all the other details of the figure. So we move down to the hair itself. The ahoge looks like it's sticking out of a little hole, again, like it was implanted later, which doesn't look too good. But if we want to go around the back of her head and see all of her hair, it's very well defined, very well textured. The colors are right. The little braids on the sides of her hair are also very cute. Very well done. And not too much else to say right there. It's got a nice glossy shine to it. And let's move into her twin tails now. Her twin tails have these nice cute little bows. No scuffs, no nothing bad there. It looks like the way they did these was, like I said, no assembly required, when they probably easily could have done that and, just done pegs for these little hair loopies. But, they leave it to themselves to do it, and us as the consumer, all we got to do is put it down and we are good to go. So yeah, it looks like they make the obvious connection there, and it looks very smooth. The hair looks nice. It gets a little translucent near the ends, probably to simulate the fact that the hair is getting thinner and you can kind of see through it, but it looks really nice. The pink and the blue mix together really well, and it kind of blends together as you get closer to the tips of her hair. It looks very, very cute. Now let's move on to her face, her eyes, her nice soft smile. Very nice expression. Her little blush lines are cute. I don't really see any scuffs or errors on her face, or the rest of her head for that matter. Her ears are well sculpted as well. That's not usually something we take notice of, because usually they're animal ears. But her ears are quite well sculpted. And yeah, again, not too much to say about the rest of her head. Very well done so far. Now, as we move down into her clothing, her neck, her chest, her, I think this is a lapel. I think this is actually a really cute touch. On the back of her head, she has a couple of flyaways right at the base of her neck, which anyone that has long hair, you might be able to relate, like pulling your hair up into a bun or a ponytail or pigtails, I guess. You have some of the shorter hairs at the bottom of your neck that don't get caught by the hair ties. And she has a couple of those. That's really nice detail to be added. A really nice touch. And as we get into her little collar, her bow, no scuff marks, no painting errors that I see. It's very well done. Not too much detail in the bow itself, and just enough detail on the fringes of her little collar thing. I don't know what to call that. I'm just going to call it a collar. Nice little fold details in the back of it. And then, of course, around the edges, you have little frills. Very well done. As we get into the rest of her maid uniform itself, little puffy shoulders. I'm going to keep saying it. No scuff marks, no painting errors. It looks very nice. And again, scuff and paint errors are something that is figure to figure, so I might have just gotten really lucky with a pristine quality figure here. But overall, colors are nice. The sculpt looks nice and natural. The fabric looks like it's folding in a natural way. And as we get into, let's go into the arm that is doing the peace sign first. I would have appreciated it more if the peace sign was a little bit more in front of her eyes, because right now it's like, if I do it for the camera, it's like this. Well, I'm mirroring it. Hold on. It's like this, when usually an idol will do it like closer in front of their face, like, you know, they're looking through the V like that. But it's a little off of her face, and I think the reason why they did that was because they wanted to be able to show off her face, which is very understandable. And we still get this cute little dynamic pose here. Her little cuff is nice and well sculpted. The inside looks good too. There is a little bit of a, I wouldn't call that an error, but the paint here is a little fatter at this mark. Probably did an extra little brush, and as a result it looks a little fatter, but that's not something you're going to notice at a distance. The rest of her hand, you know, the cute little blue nail polish. There was a little piece of dust on there, but other than that, very well done. Very nice. As we go to the other arm, the one holding the omuraisu with the little heart on it. Very adorable. The hand holding up the plate looks nice and stable. And I could tell you, as someone who has ran dishes in a restaurant, she is holding the plate completely incorrectly, because it is going to be very hard to put it down at the table. And if she were to have to run more than one plate, she wouldn't be able to hold more than one plate on this particular hand. So, you know, kind of sloppy in terms of her ability to wait tables. But she is a clumsy, adorable maid, so maybe she doesn't have that kind of training. But as we get into the arm again, I was going to say I think I see a little crease that runs down her forearm to her elbow, but that might have just been the lighting. I have the windows open and it's like stormy and windy out, so the lighting is not the best. And I don't want to turn the overhead light on just yet. The plate itself, I mean, it's plain. It's a nice white plastic plate, probably something cheap you would buy in bulk at a Sam's Club or a Costco. And then the omuraisu itself, not too much texture to it. And now that I say that, I'm starting to feel it, and most of the texture comes from the ketchup bumping out from it, which it looks a little unnatural because the egg is inside of the heart is level with the rest of the heart, whereas it is a little deflated around the heart. So the egg kind of rises within the ketchup, which physically doesn't make sense. If anything, it should have just been the heart of ketchup painted onto the omelet, I think. But it does give it a little bit more depth. It does make it pop a little bit more, so a bit of a trade-off there. And overall, her upper body looks pretty fine as we move into her chest. Her outfit is very well done. And you can see this white section covering her breasts as it connects to the rest of the navy blue. It's kind of odd because you know this is supposed to be an undershirt, but there are sections like right here next to her elbow where it seems to pop out, which is that tells me that these are two separate pieces, obviously, you know, pushed together in some sort of way. So it doesn't look like it's an undershirt, which bothers me a very little bit, but not enough to make it a very big complaint. It still looks fine. And again, not something you would be able to notice if you're looking at the figure head on, because that's kind of hidden by the fact that, you know, her body is turned and that is hidden in that way. So not too bad there. As we get down into the big billowing skirt, the cute little bows don't have any painting errors on them. This is where you would expect the bows to either have a little bit of navy blue on them, or the skirt around the bows to have a little bit of white on them, because it does look like they are one piece. Or no, actually, this bow is coming a little loose, and you can see that the bows are separate pieces that are jammed into these little holes. So that's actually smart design. The bows are little pegs that are put into the skirt, which you can kind of see on this top one, which is a little loose. Might be able to push it in a little. But I think that's a smart decision. That way you don't get those painting errors. And I don't see any kind of scuff around this little anchor here. But as we get closer to the frill of this navy blue part, you can kind of see a little paint line under this bow over here. The white and the blue kind of bleed together into each other at this frill, like especially here in the front. There are a couple of tiny painting errors, but not really anything to write home about. As we get to the back, the big bow on the back, this is probably another situation where it is one big bow that is put into a peg or something, but it is in there really tight. It can't move around, so maybe it is the same cut. I'm not exactly sure, but no painting errors on the bow. You can kind of lift the bow up a little bit and see that underneath there's no navy blue bleeding onto it as well. And it looks really nice. The very tiny painting errors where the white meets the navy blue at the frill don't seem to be happening in the back here as roughly as it did around the side and around the front. For the underskirt, skirt underneath the navy blue, the white, nice, billowy. It's all white or a darker blue, maybe a very pale lavender. My lighting might be a little bit off, and it might be influenced by the navy blue around it, but it looks nice. No sculpting errors that I can see. A little bit of dust, but of course that's to be expected. No painting errors, and overall very high quality. As we get into the legs, however, we see her butt. She's wearing white panties. There is a crease on the back of her thigh here, which looks a little strange. And even where the thigh and the butt meets the underwear, that's a very odd looking crease. But I mean, you're not supposed to be looking at this part of the figure. Other than that, though, the legs look very well done. I won't say pristine because I think I see another line on her right thigh, the outer right thigh. As we move down to the knees and to the calves, it all looks fine. There's not going to be too much detail put here, and as a result, there's not too many details to go over here until we get to the feet, where she is wearing the frills around her ankles, and those are the same thing as her skirt covering her legs. Not really too much to say here. There is a tiny little scuff right here on the outside of her right foot. But other than that, they look quite nice. There is a little scuff mark on her ankle here, her left inner ankle. That might just come off with a little bit of saliva and elbow grease. And then we go down into the shoes. The shoes are nothing too special. There is, like I mentioned earlier, with the bows bleeding onto the navy blue, there is that little bit of an issue. There's a tiny bit of white on the navy blue shoe on this upper foot, and I can't say there are too many other problems with this. So overall, a very well made figure. And if we want to take a step back at it again and look at her, the stand is also quite adorable. It is her symbol, it's her calling card, it's her little emoji that you can identify yourself with on, Twitter. And even though it's plain, just her color with the anchor, it's more than I could say about a lot of other figures that are just as expensive as this one. And this is overall a very good figure. If you are a fan of Aqua, I highly recommend it. If you are a fan of Hololive in general, I will highly recommend it, even if Aqua is not your favorite. This is a very clean figure. It's a very cute figure. It's not too dynamic, but if I were to put her with, say, my gamer girls over here on my computer desk, she might stand out a bit because she doesn't look like she's a gamer girl. Because, all of my Nendoroids, they're holding PlayStation controllers and candy and sodas. And, my Shido Nendoroid is holding a gun. So it's like, okay, something weird's going on here. But then if I put Aqua right there, might stand out a little bit. I will say, though, that On the side of the box, we got a good angle of Aqua looking down onto her. But I realize now that she is standing up straight. If I'm looking down at her, she's just looking forward. So her head is not tilted up in any way. So if you really wanted to display her correctly, you would put her level with your face or above you. And that's because, again, like, if you're looking at her, like, this is flat. If you're looking at her from above, you're just looking at her hair. But if you're looking at her head on like this, then you're getting a more full picture. And if you're looking at, well, if you're looking at an angle from below, then it's a lot more dynamic, even though she's not going to be looking at you. So if you want to put her anywhere, she's got to be at eye level, which is kind of, I'm not going to say it's annoying, because a lot of statues are not meant to be looked at from above. So try to find the right spot for her. If you are like me, and you can see everything everywhere, there are decent handful of figures that you can look down on and they still look fine, but this is not going to be one of them. If you look down on her, you're just going to be looking at the top of her head and her titties, which some people might like that. Me, I want to look at her cute face and imagine her going, nah. So I want to be able to see her face, which means I'm probably going to put her on my computer stand somewhere so I can look at her eye to eye. And that is going to be the best possible place to put her, somewhere on my computer, with the rest of my gamer girls, which I will take a picture of and post it at the end of this video. So if you liked this video, please be sure to comment and subscribe. Like the video as well. Tell your friends about it. If you yourself have this hololive Aqua figure made by Kotobukiya, let me know what you think about it. I think it is a very nice addition. And, I did get frustrated very much with Kotobukiya when it came to my Azur Lane figures. Not that a lot of you would know about that, because that was on a different channel a long time ago. But basically, I was very disappointed in the quality of their faces. And I was very upset with Kotobukiya, saying that they've lost a lot of my trust. But this definitely helps regain and rebuild that, because this is a very, very well done figure. All of the small details are there. A lot of the very, very tiny details that I was complaining about because I was looking at it like very close up, you're not going to notice from afar. Like I mentioned, where her ahoge connects to her head. Can't tell that from, a foot away, 2 feet away. And that's exactly the distance you're probably going to be looking at her for a majority of her lifetime on your little computer stand or your display case or wherever you want to display her. So if you have any objections to what I was saying earlier about, looking down at her, or if you have any other anime figures where that they have to be displayed in a certain manner because of the way their body is leaning, or because of the way that their composition is laid out, be sure to let me know. I'd like to take a look at some of those figures and how you display them as well. That is going to be it from me. The next video in this series is going to be Coco Fantasia from Gochuman wa Usagi desu ka? It's a magical girl render of our lovely girl Coco, Haato Coco. That's her name, Haato Coco. And her, what was her name? Her sister's name is like Haato Mocha or something. It's an adorable little show, and I hope you guys tune in for the next anime figure review. I will catch you cats later.